Hello, you're welcome to today's lesson, and we are still dealing with bearings. Last time I gave examples on how to find bearings. Meanwhile, my name is Harrison, and we have a question on the board. A traveler moves from a town P on a bearing of 055 degrees to a town Q, 200 kilometers away. He then moves from Q on a bearing of 155 degrees to a town R, 400 kilometers from Q. Find 1, distance between P and R. 2, bearing of P from R, correct to the nearest degree. As usual, we have to draw our cardinal points showing the bearings. So we start. So these are our cardinal points showing north, east, west, and south. First of all, we are told that the man moves from a point P on a bearing of this. So let's take this to be our P. And then we also indicate the bearing. Since it is 055, that means it's still within this first quadrant. So we locate. And then he traveled how many kilometers? 200 kilometers. So on reaching this point, he stopped. This is 200 kilometers. Then instead of continuing, he changed his direction and started traveling on a bearing of 155 degrees. So this is Q, and then to move on, you have to form another cardinal points here. Now this is 90, 180. So 155, we are using this to locate it. And then that movement took how many kilometers? 400 before getting to R. So we have 400 kilometers. Now let's assume that this is where we have our R. Then you have to join from here. So this is our PQR. Okay. Now we are to find first of all the distance between P and R, between this and this. And before we do that, we have to make sure that at least we know the whole of this angle. So this is parallel to this, because we can say we have another knot here. So that means this is 55 degrees, because when you have two parallel lines, for instance this, a line crossing, you have this equal to this, alternate angles are always equal. So this is 55, this is also 55. But the whole of this from here to here is 155. That's the bearing from Q to R. Okay. So the next thing, for us to get this small angle here, we need to subtract 155 from 180, because the whole of this from here to this line is 180. Remember, we have calculated this, which is equal to this. We have calculated this one to be 55. So for us to get this small angle inside, we have to subtract 155, which is the one outside, from 180. So to move on, we have 155 minus, 180 minus 155. So carry on the subtraction. This is 5, remaining 7. This is 2. and then this is 0. So that means this small angle here is 25. Now you have to add 25 to 55. 55 degrees plus 25 degrees will give us 80 degrees. So it means that the whole of this cube is 80 degrees. I've shown you the reason and how I got that 80. You subtract 155 from 180 to get part of it, and then 55 here is alternate to this. So you add 25 plus 55, and that gave us 80 degrees. Okay, so moving on, we are to find the first one, the distance between P and R. So we have to look for P, R. So in this case, since we know two sides and one angle, we are supposed to use cosine rule. Supposed to use cosine rule. So anytime you know two sides and one angle, the best formula to use is cosine rule. Now, if it is angle 90, that is if it is a right angle triangle, use Pythagoras theorem. So PR should give us, that's PR squared is equal to P Q squared plus QR squared minus 2, let me write it well to not enter here. So this is equal to P Q squared plus Q R squared minus 2 into PQ into QR cos Q. That is the angle here. So if you continue, we have, you now put the values. That is 200 squared plus 400 squared minus 2 times 200 times 400 cos 80 degrees. And that will give us, then you check your calculator, and checking calculator we have this is a 440,000, then plus 160,000, then minus 160,000 multiplied by cos 80. That is 0.1736. 0.17 times 0.1736. 1736. So in order to continue, we have that will give us when you add these two, you have 200,000. 200,000 minus, multiply this, and that will give us 27784. 784. So when we now subtract, you subtract, and then we are going to end up with 17216. 17216. 216. Sorry, 172,216. Now, remember that it means then that PR squared is equal to 172,216. So we have to find the square root in order to give us uh, the distance between P and R. So coming back here, we now say that P R is equal to square root of 172,216. Again, if you use your calculator, that will give us 415 kilometers. That is 415 kilometers. So that's the distance from P to R. That's the distance from P to R. So the second question says we should find the bearing of P from R. Bearing of P from R, you start from the north, from here, continue until you get to the line connecting P and R. Now, but remember that we had a straight line here and we calculated this to be 25 degrees after that. So this 25 degrees is alternate this. And that means this is also 25 degrees. So what we are going to do is to calculate the angle here plus 25, subtract from 360, so that the remaining will be what we have here. And that's the bearing of P from R. So let's start. In that case, we are going to use a sine rule. We are going to use sine rule. So going forward, we have to come up here. So using sine rule, remember, this is small q. Any side facing, like as we have capital Q here, the side facing this q is small q. So we are going to have q over sine q is equal to, this should be small r over sine r. Remember that what we are looking for is angle r. Okay, so moving on, we already know q to be 415. That is 415 all over sine 80. That is this equal to r, that's small r, and small r here is 200 all over sine r. So sine r is the one we don't know, and that is what we are looking for. So as we continue, we have to cross multiply, and that means that 415 sine r is equal to 200 sine 80 degrees. Again, we have to use our calculator, but before then, we know that from here, sine r should be equal to 200 multiplied by, you look for sine 80, or let me just write it, sine 80 all over 415. So that will give us 200 times 0. You check your calculator, that will give us 0.9848. 9848. We are dividing it by 415. 415. So, in order to continue, this will give us this will give 196.96 all over 415. So, coming back again, we are going to have, when you divide, you have we have this 196.96 divided by 415 will give us 0.4746. 0.4746. Now, it then means that, remember, this is sine r that is now giving us this. So we say that sine r is equal to this. Therefore, sine inverse r is equal to, use your calculator to find the particular angle, and that will give us approximately 28 degrees. Approximately equal to 28 degrees. So which means that the whole of this, we have calculated it to be 28 degrees. But we are looking for the bearing of P from R. That is, from here, go round to the line joining the two. So we are going to add 28 plus 25, and then we subtract from 360. So coming back from here, we are now going to have 28 degrees plus 28 degrees plus 25. That will give us 53 degrees. 53 degrees. That is 28, 25. This is 13. This is 5. So, in order to move on, we are now going to have, we can say that bearing of P from R, P from R is equal to 360 degrees minus 53 degrees. And if you carry on the division, the subtraction, 360 minus 53. This is 7, this is 0, this is 3. Borrow 1, 7, 0, 3. So that will give us 307 degrees. So we have succeeded in getting the bearing of P from R. And that is the end of the lesson. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. If there's any question, you put it in the comment section or the chat section so that I will check it and put the solution in my next video. Thank you and God bless you.